Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel if you're new. My name's Oliver. So for today's video, we have an episode recap of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 6, Episode 12. I'm gonna be honest, I don't have too many notes. I have a good amount, but I don't have too many notes because so much was happening, I couldn't keep up. Especially like in the very last scene. But anyways, let's get into it. So it starts off, basically Bronwyn picks up Todd in a sloth costume and she tells him that she wants to have a spill the Boston Tea Party to celebrate her citizenship. Moving on from this, it's Whitney and Justin, and Whitney's kind of crying because she's like, okay, I just saw a big, large transfer out of our bank account to one of our vendors. And basically Whitney said that they took Wild Rose Beauty and merged into a new entity, and now she just wants back her inventory and she wants to get like off the company as like the leader of it, essentially. Like she just wants to remove herself as the owner because basically it's an MLM. And then Whitney keeps crying, and she said that for years she's wanted Justin to be a part of Wild Rose Beauty. And when he said yes, it turned into the MLM. And it's affecting their marriage because Whitney said that it's affecting both her business and their marriage because she doesn't know what she needs. Okay, moving on from that, it is Heather and Georgia. They're throwing Annabelle a going away party, you know, or basically a going away like celebration that she's going to Tampa. So they're just like decorating Annabelle's room. This was a very adorable scene. Like, y'all know I already like Heather, like as a person. I really like her. She's really fun to talk to. Seeing her in an element like with her daughters, like that is just super sweet. So I really thought that was fun. They surprised Annabelle. It's just really fun. And I didn't realize that Annabelle and Georgia, they're both going to college in Florida. So one's going to Tampa, one's Miami. Anyways, moving on, it is Bronwyn. She's getting a bunch of pride flags for all the non-government buildings. And her mom's actually helping her with that. And Bronwyn is talking to her mom about how she's doing with Gwen, and Muzzy essentially said that, you know, Bronwyn's doing a good job, and she's getting very emotional. It was a good scene. But yeah, okay, moving on from that, it's finally the Boston Spill the Tea Party. Angie arrives first. She's basically Betsy Ross. She has a big American flag. I think she has the one with only the 13 stars on it. I think that was the one that she had. But then, yeah, all the other girls are on the way. Heather's dressed as Hamilton, Whitney's Paul Revere. Brittany said that she's accepting Meredith's apology and moving forward. And then finally, Lisa and Meredith arrive. Then the garage opens after everyone except for Mary arrives. And the grand reveal is Bronwyn, and she's dressed essentially as kind of like George Washington. Essentially. With an American flag she's holding. And it's just fun. But yeah, she gives them all wigs. Actually, it's funny because whenever I saw Bronwyn at BravoCon, she said, you better order your George Washington wigs when you redo these scenes. And I was like, oh God. So I'm literally staring at one of them right now. I have a hat over there. There's another wig upstairs. And I need to go to the store to go get a feather to act as like a quill. So I'm gonna do that after this. Anyways, so yeah, she gives them all wigs, and then Mary walks in late, and Mary looks at the wigs, and she's like, no. And then Mary literally opens her jacket, and she's like, I brought my own. She's just the funniest person ever. Anyways, then finally in the confessionals, they're all trying to name the Bill of Rights and guess how many US senators there are, and they like really do fail at that. They can't name them all. I mean, Bronwyn did. Honestly, it makes sense though. But yeah, that's the first scene I'm gonna do. I'm gonna post that one actually today, I think. But yeah. Oh, and then like basically, and in all of their seats, there are all these papers. And the papers like have their names on it, and then they have these boxes, and they have to write on it the person's name that they've spilled tea about, and then throw it into the Boston Harbor. And so Angie went first, and she wrote Lisa. And Lisa basically told them that she bought a horse, like this was back when they were on the boat in Canawan. And then Angie went and talked to other people about it. So that's what that was about. She just wrote Lisa's name and threw it in there. So yeah. Then Brittany's like, okay, well, she kind of didn't really do it right, but she said, okay, well, who spilled the tea about me and Joao? Because when I got home, me and Jared broke up about it. And they're all trying to figure out who did it. It was Justin. How? Because whenever they were still in Canawan on the boat, Whitney sent Justin a voice memo. And of course, Justin, being messy, went over and told Jared. And then Heather wrote Bronwyn on her box because she's like, Bronwyn, do you feel like the Todd farting and making out is absurd? And Bronwyn's like, just throw out that thing box. And then Heather did apologize. She did apologize. And then Bronwyn actually wrote Whitney because she's apologizing for telling Meredith about what Whitney said about Meredith. And then Whitney's like, you're making me look horrible in front of Meredith. And this is the point where I was like, so much was happening. Like I couldn't text because so many people were making different points. Like Lisa even chimed in. It was just a lot going on. Y'all really do need to just watch it because I'm just gonna read off like what I have left, but it may or may not make sense. So yeah, so much is happening. Whitney and Meredith get into it. Whitney's like, Meredith never takes accountability. Meredith calls Whitney a liar, and Whitney's like, okay, well, if you're gonna call me a liar, then let's just call out what you are, alcoholic, pill popper. And then Meredith's like, you know what? Okay, she gets up to go give everyone a gift, and they open the gift. Of course, it's Meredith Marks caviar, and then it is a drug test for everyone to take. And everyone's like, where did you even get a drug test from? And Meredith is like, any single person that's accused me of being on drugs, you should take the test and then worry about your own life. And then Whitney's like, your issue is that you aren't mad, and then you go to sleep, and then you wake up, and then you want to get mad. And then she's like, you did that to me. And then they pulled like scenes from whenever they were on the boat, and like Meredith did do that. So then Lisa brings up a good point. She says that Whitney is weaponizing her experience, and that's not good. And that's very true. So then Whitney said that Meredith yelled at her on the plane, and Mary's like, Meredith, you did yell at Whitney. And then they show footage of whenever they were at Valter's, I think that was last episode, when Mary was telling Meredith, like, you know, you yelled at Whitney, like on the plane. So yeah. So then I wrote in here, OMG, a lot of back and forth between Meredith and Heather. Like somehow Heather and Meredith got into it again. And then Meredith sent Heather a text that said, sorry if I snapped you on the plane. I wrote, oh my, a lot is happening. Heather said that she's mad because Meredith is calling her a liar. Heather is crying because she's mad. Heather said that this is a trigger because Meredith keeps telling her a lie and is saying that it's the truth, and that's what happened basically for her whole like Mormon experience. Like she was told that something was the truth all her life, and then it really wasn't. So she's crying because that was like a trigger for her. So then after that dust settles, Bronwyn gets up to go reveal her dress. She comes back and it's literally the whole Constitution. Like it's pretty cool. It's a black dress, but it has the Constitution written like around the shoulder and like whatnot. Really creative. I love Bronwyn and how creative she is. I think that's really cool. And then Bronwyn is saying, you know, how about we agree to do some friendship amendments? So they all go around and say things that they want to add in their friendship amendments, like, you know, like families are off limits, marriages are off limits, we all need to tell the truth. And then Meredith is like, stop with your reactive abuse. And then I wrote in here, okay then. And then I can't remember who said it. Oh, no, I think Heather said no more farts. And then Mary was like, oh my gosh, Heather, it gets to a point. And then I think Heather said something like, you are the gas queen, so you should know. Something like that. I don't know. This is a funny episode, but a lot was happening in that dinner scene like super quick, so I couldn't like tell. I was like, oh my gosh. But anyways, just go ahead and watch it. I need to go and get ready to make these scenes. I think I'm only gonna just recreate one today and post one today, and then see whichever one that everyone wants me to do, and I'll make those the following days throughout the weekend and whatnot. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did making it. Please remember to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.